Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. Today we have an amazing webinar and it will be presented by Rodney Amirebrahimi. It's called Advanced Character Design in Clip Studio Paint. Before we begin the webinar, there are some housekeeping items that I'd like to go through. The webinar will be approximately 1 hour long. All attendees will be muted. There will be a Q&A session during the last 15 minutes of the webinar. We have a chat, but we use it for sharing information. So if you want to send a message, send your questions, please write them on the question panel. Also, unfortunately, due to time constraints, all the questions will be answered. This webinar will be recorded and the recording will be shared on social media and will be sent via email to all registrants and attendees. Also, for the attendees, you can generate an e-certificate in case you want to use it for your college or art institution. The panelists for this webinar are Maria Quiñones and Rodney Amirebrahimi. Also, if this is your first time connecting with us or you haven't used Clip Studio Paint, Clip Studio Paint is your all-in-one solution for stunning, ready-to-publish illustrations, comics, manga, and animations. Learn more at clipstudio.net/n or graphicly.com. Also, we invite you to share Instagram stories tagging us as #webinar at Rodney_Amirebrahimi, at Graphicsly, at Wacom, and at Clip Studio Official. We'll be sharing your stories. And before we start, let me just share with you Rodney's biography. Rodney is also known as The Game World, and he is a professional digital painter best known for his video game-inspired artworks that have been featured by major names such as Microsoft and Rockstar Games. So with that, I will leave you with Rodney and his presentation, Advanced Character Design in Clip Studio Paint. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. Hope you find this advanced character design process interesting, and hope I'll be able to add something that could be used eventually for you in some way. So, to get things started, I'll be doing a warm-up sketch and talk over some of the ideas and process that I usually do. To get things started, uh, as an artist, you never stop the learning process. So the thing is, personally for myself, when I started digital painting, I learned everything through social media, uh, from all the amazing artists who've been sharing their work over the years on different websites, on different platforms. So one thing I highly recommend to each and everyone is to go out there and explore, have fun, and learn everything you can, because you don't know what you can pick up from a specific artist. For example, you might learn the sketching process from one and a rendering process from another, and eventually create your own unique workflow, your own unique process, and put all these things together, and eventually you will find your own voice as an artist. And remember, this is a patience game. This is there's no shortcuts. There's no like magic that's gonna happen in the background. There are no golden rules that we can say, do this, and eventually everything will go faster than bolt of lightning. So it's all up to you, and go for it. Go out there, explore whatever you can, and learn from the best. And to the character design. One of the key and most important things I've personally learned throughout the years was storytelling. When we are talking about characters, one of the key ingredients is story and the intent. Like, why are we having a specific character in a specific style? Who are they? What they are doing? And so on. And the story all the small elements, from a scar on the face of the character to a specific item dangling from top a side of their costume, each and every small detail eventually leads to a key important ingredient in designing the character. So it's important to know how to tell a story, but not every character designer needs to be a good storyteller. There are aspects of it that we need to understand to be able to pull it off and create a character that people could relate to, people could understand in some way or form. So we need to know a certain basics of it, and that will help you to better understand what someone is assigned you to create, or better create something from your own imagination, something that is in your head, character you want to create. And the thing is, uh, well, personally, one of the biggest struggles that I always had was to sketch something from my mind, like how can I like get something out of my mind in the right way. I always struggled in the sketching process, and I didn't know like I watched so many different videos, so many different amazing artists, like in few minutes, few seconds put down what they were thinking. And I was like, I'm struggling. I cannot pull this off. No matter how many times I sketch, I don't get it. I don't get it right. So I started using a blurry brush to just uh, go for it. Like put down random lines, eventually get it near, at least near to what's in my head. It might take so many attempts to like design the character, like get it to where I want it to be. But I found it much more easier for me to use a blurry brush. So many amazing artists use a brush that is set to maximum hardness or something, but for me, I found out this works best. And don't be scared of the sketching process. It doesn't matter how many attempts it takes. For example, I will lower the opacity, create a new layer, go in, and then start reforming and giving it a much more clear look and give me a better understanding what I'm going for. And this might take more than 5 or 6 attempts to get it right still after all these years from me. But it's something that I found it's more fun, and it's a key ingredient. If it's not fun, then why are we doing it? So with all that said, one of the another key important thing that I want to talk about is when you're getting started as a character designer, it's important to know that you won't be getting it right from the get-go, because you need practice, you need to see stuff in different eye view, if I say it right. Um, for example, when I started digital painting back in 2009, uh, I came up with this guy. This is me from 2009, when I didn't know anything about digital painting. I didn't know about the layer system and so on. So this guy is inspired by one of the famous characters in video game history, a random merchant in Resident Evil 4. So when I was designing this guy, I wanted a mysterious figure in my story that was going to sell items. That's simple. That's the intent that I talked about. Why does the character exist? So over the years, whenever I learned and thought I learned new stuff, I could do this character more justice, get it much more closer. This is the second attempt of redesigning this guy in 2013. You can see and feel like, okay, there are a few eyes here and there, like there's one hiding down there, and it's much more rendered and looks better in some shape or form. But this is now. This is how he looks right now. And in terms of storytelling, it's these small creatures standing on top of each other, creating this mysterious figure, and they steal stuff and sell it for in exchange of certain artifacts. So now it's not only having a tent, like he's a shop, he's a shopkeeper. You will, if it, let's see it as a video game, is as a shopkeeper character NPC type that you're going to interact with and buy items from. So all the other small elements will add story value. How they stitch this custom up together, like all the shapes and forms that you can see on the costume. You can feel like there are people in this costume. They're moving around, so all of these small things will help you to shape a better character and for people to better relate to the character and better understand what you're going for. And you don't specifically know when this is going to work. And it's more of an experimental phase of like see what clicks best with your idea, and I might change this few more times to eventually get it closer to the final version. So to what I'm going to demonstrate fully in this video. I'm going to be painting a Grim Reaper. This is an early sketch that I made for the character. The idea was like, okay, we have an idea about death, about the Grim Reaper, and what I went with like, okay, how can I make him unique, like the skull, his weapon, and so on. I played around with the idea, like the jaw is not connected, make it a little bit smaller and so on. This is the second sketch, making it a bit different, giving it a more pose, like holding a screaming soul. You can see, then whenever like I'm in a stage, like okay, I'm sure about the design, like this is what I'm going for, then I will be going for references, or I use a 3D model that comes with Clip Studio Paint to make sure that what I'm painting is like everything is set, everything is in the right position. I'm not breaking any anatomy or something. So when I'm sure with that, like everything is okay, then another sketch will come on top of all of this. I will lower the opacity of the ones that I did before, and the new sketch comes on top. The new sketch is much more clear. Yeah, sorry, it's much more clear, and you can read more stuff through it, and this is the final draft. This is what I'm going for right now. Like there are a few more elements, like there's a dangling mask, there's a book on the side, there's a bag behind him and a cloak, and I put out the left hand outside, so give it a much more breathing room for the character, and I could play around with that, like show maybe small souls running down in his arm and his neck. So with all that said, we'll be start putting in the dark background, start putting in small colors, and this is our base. Now I'll be starting the rendering process. Uh, One thing that I wanted to talk about was about the complexity and simplicity at the same time. There's a fine line between these two, and sometimes the simplest design might work, and sometimes it won't. We need to know what are we going for from the get-go. Or the audience, the project, what is the aim, who are we creating the character for, the story, the setting, the world. All these things will help you better understand to how to execute a character in terms of design. And for example, when we are talking about a much more cartoony and animation style, you could easily go for a simple design and it will always work. But you need to remember, when we're going for a complex design and we need so many different elements, and when it's much more closer to realism, there are so many key elements that needs to have a big role in terms of storytelling, especially. And if you overdo it, if you over push the design, it's hard to read, and people will push back against it, and people won't recognize all the small details that you put into it. So it's not always about like going hyper realistic and give it so many different details, put so many different things on the character, and people will get confused. They don't know where to look at. People don't know, uh, okay, what's this guy's intent? What's going on? Or what are we looking for? So there's a fine line between simple and complex, and it's something that you need to learn from all the movies, video games that we have. Have an open eye for these type of things. See how each successful character design does specific thing well, and try to implement, play around with it, and see what works best again for you, for your project, for your idea. And for the rendering process, I usually go for like in terms of uh, like going in a fine art rendering style. Like I love painting, so I don't like to skip the small parts. So I enjoy it. So each and every artist will have their own workflow, and this is mine. So I hope you like it.
Rodney, while you are on the rendering, maybe we can also add some of the questions from the audience and comments. Is that all
Sure
right?
thing, sure thing. Yeah, yeah, sure
Uh,
thing.
Naomi A. Hallin asked if you are left-handed.
No, I'm right-handed.
Do you think there's something related to the way you design, or
I don't think it actually affects. Uh, it, it depends. Like some people assume this from like how I lay out the workspace in Clip Studio
Exactly,
Paint, but
probably.
yeah, yeah. The thing is, I found it like it works this way better for me, so I like put things together this way. But I'm right-handed.
Mm-hmm. Also, I'm gonna add some really interesting question from Noble Mirik. How long do you warm up sketches before going into a project?
Uh, it depends. It depends, especially on like if it's my own, I will take my time, as long as I need. But if it's something like uh, I'm working for a specific, uh, it's a commission, for example, or a freelance work. Uh, it depends on the idea. Like I how can I say it? Um, Sometimes the designing character might take a few days. Like the back and forth in the sketching process when you're talking to the client, it's not like magic, like you could snap your fingers and it happens. And you need so many different resources, so many different uh, references to go through and back and forth between the client to make sure that what you are like designing is close to what they have in mind. So the sketching process is long. It's not short. And there are specific times that when you show them the first sketch and they go like, "This is what we're looking for." That's a miracle. That not always happens, but it happened a few times for me.
Mm-hmm. And there were a lot of questions regarding the color palette. For this one, you chose some specific reference. Do you use the subview tool a lot for adding your references, or you have like a folder of your favorite kind of like color spaces?
The thing is, I go for like for this piece, when we're talking about like a mysterious figure, death, it's always a moody setup. Like you have an already something in your mind, like, okay, what I'm going for is dark and moody, and this will be my color palette. You have few mindset of things that you could use in terms of color palette. So either I have a lot of references, but I don't always go to them to set things in motion. And for this one, I just went with my gut. I played around with what could I use in background tone, and I felt like this works best. And the thing is, you never know. It's 100% sure. Like I might halfway through changed all the colors. Like depends on the mood. Like I might change the light source. I might turn the background red in a few hours. I don't know. And you never 100% sure. Like don't be 100% sure. Like there is always a room for improvement. You might eventually see a specific artwork on ArtStation, DeviantArt, so on, and see, if I do that, that works great on my artwork. Go for it. Don't settle with like 100% that what I'm doing is done. There's always room for change, and there's always room to improve a concept, a character, especially when it comes to color palette.
Mm-hmm. Thank you guys. There are a lot of questions. We'll try to reply them while Rodney is doing the rendering process. Another one from Cindy Yi. You mentioned that it's always a learning process, but when do you think your art is good enough to start doing commissions?
Uh, when you have an audience and it's good enough, it's not, the thing is, you're never gonna be at the masterpiece level. Put a room for yourself to always grow. But thing is, if someone likes your work and want to commission you, go for it. Don't stop. I know hundreds of beginner artists that are already making tons of money from commissions and taking freelance work because their work have an audience. You don't know who, when, where gonna like your work. And like I said, when I started designing this guy back in 2009, I didn't know my work had an audience. Like from this to this, I didn't stop sharing. I didn't stop like opening and say I'm open for commissions. And people between these two designs still came to me and wanted few different designs from me.
Mm-hmm. Here's another question. Let me check. There was a question from other. This is another Cindy. Cindy Oko. Sorry if I mispronounce your last name. Cindy Okonkwo. Thank you for the satisfying rendering process. My question will be, how did you engage color theory and light while improving your skills? What is your approach, theoretical or rather intuitive? Is it something you think about very constant while creating a piece? Thank you.
I see a lot of works, and like I said in the beginning, never stop. Go and explore, follow many artists as you can because you don't know where you can pick something up. And when it comes to coloring and color theory, I'm not I didn't learn painting academically. I learned through social media, like I said, from all the artists that have been sharing their work. So I've learned all the basics from everyone all the works that they share. So just by watching and absorbing, you will start learning. And there's so many good YouTube videos nowadays that explain better than someone like me who is a self-taught artist, and the academic side of things will do more justice to these things. But watching and learning your eyes to go for a certain thing will help you a lot. Like when I see an artwork, when I look at an artwork, I go for like how they were able to put down the colors, how they used specific gesture, what is like the anatomy structure behind the character, how, what was their intent, the design process, all these things, small things will come to your mind. And when you are like at a certain point, when you uh, teach yourself to look for a certain thing in an artwork, you will learn a lot from it.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of questions about your brushes, Rodney. Do you have a set of brushes that you usually utilize on your projects? Do you create your own brushes?
No, I don't create my own brushes. I use Aaron Griffin's brush pack, Dan Luisi's brush pack, and they're all free, and you can easily find them in internet. If you search their name, they will definitely pop up. They've created so many amazing stuff, and I've been using them for more than 10 years now. So yeah.
And there's another question from Dash regarding people or artists that inspire you. You mentioned a lot of social media, but how about like painters, even Velázquez or any other painter from the Renaissance? Do you like to absorb from analog painting?
Yes, like the master studying is a big part of all of this, and all the big ones that came before us, like they're big names and they've done a lot. So each and every one of them, we can learn a lot, especially in terms of like the last question, color theory. Uh, Going to each and every one of them, you can learn a lot, and one of the best process they can go through to learn the basics and then understand how to execute certain things. And uh, as a I see myself as more of a painter in terms, but in digital realm, because I have a painting background. I try to bring whatever I learned in the traditional art to the digital. So I enjoy all the amazing paintings that we have all the amazing artists from Da Vinci and so on. But right now, uh, in terms of when it comes to like character design and so on, first thing that pops into my head is Star Wars. It's simplest thing you can learn from right now. When you go to the character designs from Darth Vader to Stormtroopers, they have a simple design, but the intent, the way they again, like when you look at Darth Vader, he's black in terms of color, and it's the simplest design you can pick up and understand he's the bad guy. And for this specific thing that we're talking about, uh, in terms of character design, modern stuff, modern takes that we have right now can help you a lot to better understand what you're going for in terms of character design, not art.
And Noreen asked that missed the name of the brush set or the maker that you share. Can you repeat, please, that one?
Aaron Griffin, it's with two A's and two F. I think
Mhm.
I'm opening up a brush set here. Oh no, I got lost. Let me see. I don't know if they can read it well
Yes.
enough.
Hmm.
And Dan Luisi. These are the main two for me.
Thank you, Rodney.
Sure.
Also, we'd like to thank all of you who are joining us live. We asked at the beginning from where or which side of the world were you watching us. So let me say thanks to Ginger from Poland, Cindy from Germany, Irene, California, Augustus from Turkey, who else? Mexico, Jose, Paraguay, Joshua. I think I saw people from Chile like Ham, San Francisco, Nobel, Victoria, Brooklyn, Greece, Kiriaki, Rocio from Spain, South Africa, Melanie. Who else? Let me see. Yeah, there are a few guys from the US, like Bill. Hi, Bill. Michigan, he says. So thank all of you who are joining us live.
Hello,
And let
everyone.
me, there's a lot of people, so thank all of you. Let me check one other question. Um, this from Victoria Carrillo. Where did you look for clothing inspiration?
Uh, I'm more of a video game guy, so most of my inspirations come from video games that I play usually, and amazing source is always the art book for the video games. And for example, from software games, the Elder Scrolls series, and depending on the mood, the style that you're going for. If it's science fiction, Mass Effect there is, Halo, and so many other sci-fi games. Doom, for example, the new one that came out is blending like dark fantasy and sci-fi together. It depends on what you're going for. There's always a good reference out there, and especially for custom design.
And here's a question from Ginger, actually. Do you have backstories for your characters?
Yes. Actually, that's a great question. I've been for 15 years I've been doing this, and one of the first things that I wanted to do was get into the video game industry. That didn't happen for so many different reasons, but I came up with my own original stories, and that really helped a lot, especially in the learning process. Like I didn't know what I was doing, but I told myself, okay, you have four original stories, four different worlds, completely different setups. How can you meanwhile you're learning, you can add stuff to these stories. So two are more animation cartoonish style, and one is dark fantasy, and another one is sci-fi. So I I have the freedom of design. So what you're seeing here, the death, is from the dark fantasy one. Whenever I came up with a character, I think like, how can it be part of one of these four worlds? And I started writing down some ideas, some background notes, and that's the key important part. Like at the beginning, talked about like if you want to go for a character design, the intent and storytelling. So you need to have a good story. You don't need to be amazing storyteller. You don't need to be I don't know Tolkien or something, but you need to have a good understanding of like why does this character exist? If you don't have a good reason, you don't have a good background for it, the character going to eventually end up as a random NPC in the middle of a GTA street that no one is going to care about. So the story will help you to create and design the character. For example, here, one of the first things you will notice is his weapon is a skull of a bird-shaped creature. So first thing that might pop into someone's head is he slay the beast and use it as his own weapon, and then comes to the skull. One thing that I didn't start rendering, I'm gonna put down color on right now, is there's another skull on the side. So it gives you this idea that he might be changing his face. Whoever he defeats, the skulls that he collects, he can change into them. All these small elements, story elements, can uh, play the eye and tell the eye to go and check out different parts of this character and pick up story elements from them.
And I don't remember the name. I saw this question. Sorry if I forgot. I couldn't find your name, but it was a really fun, interesting question. It was about is it the way you work that you don't zoom much as other people zoom in, zoom out while they're rendering?
That happens later on, not right now. I'm just putting down the colors to make sure I got everything right. It's what I'm going for. Then I'll
Uh-huh.
be zooming in a lot. Right now, it's not happening too much. I don't want to confuse the audience when I'm working on.
Okay, now that sounds really fair. And about that, I mean, if you're zooming in a lot, there were a lot of questions about the canvas. Do you use specific? setting for your illustrations?
This is my canvas setting. Nothing so special. Just a big canvas, really big canvas.
Ah, perfect. Um,
So
so
if they want
another.
zoom, I'm going to zoom right.
Okay,
And
okay,
now, okay, now the magic is going to happen.
okay, cool, cool. Let me see. There are a lot of questions. This one is interesting. This is more as a routine of an artist in this case. If you block out your day to divide work between food, fun, etc., or is based on vibes and deadlines?
All of them together. I have I have ADHD, so I'm always doing things together. Like I have two monitors in front of me. One is always in a video game, and the other one is always in Clip Studio Paint. It's always open, and in middle of a loading screen or middle of a like going checking the map where is the next mission, I'll be painting. And while I'm painting, I might come up with idea like, okay, I need to do another mission. And while I'm doing the mission, another idea pops into my head. Okay, I need to paint this section this way. So I'm constantly jumping between work and fun and keeping it fresh for myself. Or there are times like I'm watching a TV show at the same time that I'm painting. Not everyone can do this, but it's something that I've learned to use as a strength, maybe in some form. So multitasking for me is always the go-to thing. Like I don't hyper focus on certain thing. I can't. I just can't. Sadly, I can't.
Mm-hmm. And this is a question from Jason Tan. What is your opinion on having your own style? Like, if it's okay if you don't have a consistent art style, if you're drawing different kinds of art, or having your own is really important.
Eventually you're going to find it. Eventually, at some point, it might take a really, really long time. It took me more than 10, I think, and I still think it's not completely 100% mine. But the thing is, not everyone going to find it, maybe. And that's why you see, like, when you go work for, I don't know, a Disney studio, Pixar studio, they want a specific art style from you that is closer to them. They don't want you to create your own art style. They want you to work close enough to their style. So it's important to note that if you want to work for a specific company, for a specific studio, you need to be able to work close to their style of work. And it doesn't matter that if you have a specific art style or not. But if you want to work for yourself, if you want to shine, you need to practice a lot, watch a lot, and see different art styles. See how each individual artist approach, for example, facial expressions or facial structures. How you can play around with it. Like pick up a specific character from a specific uh, thing you like, and a cartoon, video game, movie, a comic book, and redesign them. Play around with the concept, play around with the design, see how much you can change it and make it yours. That might be a good practice early on to see how much you can explore, like finding your own voice there, and or go to the fan fiction route. create a new character in already existing world and learn that way you can learn how to design a character that could live and breathe in an already existing world, in an already existing art style.
Thank you so much, Rodney. Another, while you're rendering, of course, another question is about, let me check it here. Yes, if there's a specific tool or feature of Clip Studio Paint that you like the most.
The 3D assets. The 3D assets, especially like there's so many cool stuff in the store. Like people are uploading and creating different things there. You can pick up and use it in your illustrations and help you better reshape and structurize different things uh, and play around with the, I can say, uh, the perspective lines, especially. Those things can really help out and make the painting process much more faster.
Mm-hmm. Um, Thank you so much, everyone who's been sending your question. You can send your question using the question panel on the panel of GoToWebinar. And another question, let me see. For the days that you are blocked, that you are without inspiration, what do you do?
Fan arts. That's the best thing for art block. Like, it happens a lot to me. There are days that I'm really down and moody. I don't know what to paint, what to do. Fan arts are the go-to always for me. Like, I'm watching a new movie, I playing a game. There's certain thing that I like. It's the easiest thing to get you back into the zone. And it's important to note that always push yourself to work. Uh, Even if you're not in the mood, a simple fan art might help you to get back on track. And like I said, for me, fan arts always work. I have a lot of them. Actually, I painted a lot of fan arts over the years.
Thank you so much, Rodney. And another question is about what has been your favorite project so far that you have worked on?
What? I didn't get that. Sorry.
Your favorite project that you have worked on so far?
I say a personal one. It's a sci-fi story that I've been working on for more than 10 years, and it's my passion project. And hopefully, I can share more about it later this year. I'm planning to do a big reveal on the entire project, the entire story, and so on. So fingers crossed if things go well, uh, you can read and see more about it. But outside of my own things, a few months ago, Legacy of Kain uh, a remastered collection came out, and I was fortunate enough to be one of the artists that IDAS Montreal approached to put on one of my fan arts in the game in the collection. So that was fun. That was a great opportunity.
That's really awesome, Rodney. And let me see, Rachel Bowman, she asks, what's the most difficult part about creating and designing a character?
Ah, good question and hard. Uh, for for me, personally, it all comes down to like, is it already done or not? That's the hard part. Like, you spend a lot of time on the character, designing it, like the costume, the how he looks, the story, the background, the idea, and you search online a few months later, you pop into it. Like, oh, it's already been done. Oh crap. Like, then the hard part comes in. Like, how can I make it stand out? How can I make it unique enough to people won't say I rip it up from specific place? That's I think that's the hard part. Sad part even maybe because if it happened to me a few times, like when I thought, oh, I have an original design, and someone in the comment section told me no, it already existed. Someone else did it like 20 years ago. You know, never know.
That's actually a nice point. What about criticism? Are you too hard on yourself or in the comments that you read on social media?
I'm always open to it. Like, uh, we have different types of criticism. Like bashing is something, and there is one way to criticize and say like, uh, the lighting is off, and you should have done this and this and this. That's the right type of criticism. Like, or uh, the anatomy is off, the hand is too long, or the shoulder should not look like that. Those type of things, those type of like correction errors, or like pointing out certain things that the artist has done wrong and could be done better, that's right way to criticize. Just coming out to say this is bad, and I'm like, what part of it? If you don't tell me, then I cannot fix it. I need to know what is bad, what's not working for you, what you are not seeing in my work. So I'm open to criticism, but right way.
For sure. And another question is about when do you feel that an illustration is finished, that you are not going to put more detail into it?
Ah, that's basically never. The, I need to stop myself from working on a specific piece, and most of the time I'm like, stop it already, it's done. And I'm like, ah, just few more hours. Uh, the thing is, if you come back to the piece few months later, a year later, you're going to add more to it. So basically, it's never over unless you say it's over. You need to make a hard decision to stop working it on it. And most of the time, when it happens to me, I'm like over the design. Like I'm so done with this. I'm tired of it. I've seen enough of it. I want it to be over. That's the point for me that I say I'm done.
hmm And another question is about what's your favorite part of your job?
All of it, everything about it. Like, uh, I'm a full-time painter, and I from portraits to characters to environment stuff. I enjoy doing this, and having this as a full-time job is more like a blessing. Like doing what you enjoy and love full time is like best thing possible.
And actually, I just saw Alia Kian question, and it was about that. What's your favorite? But also, what's the least favorite part of your job? Social media
Uh,
or being administrator, accounting?
yeah, social media part has been really tough, especially with all the AI stuff that is pouring in. It's it's really hard to navigate these days, and trying to stay relevant, trying to stay in the algorithm so people could see you. It used to be much more easier, and especially for someone like me. Like when I started, I didn't have any audience. I have barely any internet access to share my work and so on. And whenever I did, people saw it. Like most of my success in terms of artists comes from around 2013 to 15. So whatever I shared and tagged a specific studio, a big name celebrity or something, they would have responded. They would have seen it. And it was much more accessible and easier. And I cannot say the same thing right now because it's a floodgate right now. Like when you open up and search a specific name, specific design type you want to go for example, on DeviantArt or ArtStation, you're going to see so many AI stuff. And same goes on social media. So it's hard to like show up every day and try to say, "Hi, I'm an artist, support me here." Like your voice is going to be lost. And best advice right now I could give is be everywhere. Be active, not so much that burns you out. You could easily copy paste the same post on different platforms, but you don't know when and where someone could see you and give you the spotlight that you need. For example, I left DeviantArt for a really long time because of the AI shenanigan that happened. But this thing that I said about EDOS Montreal for Legacy of Kane happened through DeviantArt. So there are still active users and there are still companies or studios or names that could find you through there, through Tumblr, through Reddit, through BlueSky, and so many other places they could use. But that's the most frustrating part. The marketing aspect, the social media aspect right now is the most annoying part.
Hmm. And Rodney, unfortunately, our time is limited, and we are getting to the 1 hour limit. But before we go, I just want to give you a few more minutes if you want to share something else or any advice for
Sure thing.
people who are struggling with character design.
Sure thing. For example, this is me, 2010. This is me right now. The thing is, never stop, never stop. Always practice. And one thing I always say is, if I can do it, you can do it. Because I didn't know anything. When I started digital painting, when I started my journey as an artist, uh, I was not good at this. I didn't understand anything. I was just learning stuff on the go. And the thing was, it worked because all it needs is patience, patience, and patience. This takes a lot of time, but we have so many amazing artists out there who are sharing their process, their workflow. Go on there, watch many of these amazing artists as you can, and pick up everything. Pick anything that you think that's going to work for you, and put them all together. You can you create a full uh, how can you say it? Amazing puzzle for yourself that could work for you. And I think that's about it.
Well, thank you so much, Rodney. I know our time is limited. We will hope to see the final version of the illustration that you've been doing today, maybe later. But once again, thank you so much for your time. Thank all of you who joined us live, and all of you who are sending your love through the chat. For Rodney, it's been an amazing webinar. And
Thank you for having me.
And before we go, let me just share one last bit of information. If you want to learn more about Clip Studio Paint, please visit our website clipstudio.net/n and graphicsly.com. Also, a few of you asked if this webinar has been recorded. Yes, and we'll upload the recording to our Clip Studio Paint channel and also to Graphicsly. So don't forget to subscribe to receive a notification once the video is available. And also for more information about Rodney, don't forget to follow him on his socials, Instagram, Cara, and BlueSky. Is that it?
Yes, thank you.
So once again, thank you so much, Rodney.
Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for your time and your knowledge. Thank all of you who join us live and who are watching the recording. So don't forget to follow Graphicsly for more webinars, to be updated about information about Clip Studio Paint, promotions, courses, etc. So we hope to see you next time. Bye bye.
Goodbye, everyone.